All right, welcome everybody to the June meeting of Climate Reality DFW. We're going to try to cram a lot into a short time this morning, and we're looking forward to hearing from our speaker, Michael Martin, who will be coming on in about 20 minutes. So, would you guys like to go around the room and introduce yourselves first? I'll start. I'm Jan. I'm the events coordinator, and I'm happy to work in the solar industry. And I'm always open to suggestions on things we could do for fun outside of our actual meetings. So I'll pass it to you, Jayashree.
Oh, hi. So I'm Jayashree Prasad, and I'm the co-host. And what else? And today I'm kind of monitoring because Mike is out of state, and I pass it on to Jeffrey.
Hello, I'm Jeffrey. I'm feeling a lot of emotions about where we are as a world, and that's why I'm here. I'll pass it on to, let's see, Chip.
Sorry, y'all. I was making coffee in the kitchen next door. And I'm having technical problems. I hope my computer doesn't bug out. If it does, I apologize. Still there. Okay.
Must be working well. You're looking very handsome.
Oh, thanks. That's sweet. Oh, yeah, I mean, I have kind of similar sentiments to Jeffrey there. I'm worried about things, but take hope because that's the only alternative. Yeah. So I think that, the No Kings protest, that sort of action is giving me hope, and things like this meeting are giving me hope. So looking forward to it. Oh, and I'll pass it to Paula. I don't think we've heard from Paula yet, right?
Hi,
Yeah.
Paula Day. I do the newsletter. Happy to be here and see our good friend Michael Martin back with us.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll pass it to Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Chen. I'm the secretary and the minute taker today. Thank you. I will pass to Mike.
Hello, everybody. My name is Mike Henkel, and I am co-chair with Jayashree. And I am here because of all you, our climate, our climate needs us, our planet needs us, and there's a lot of despair right now, quite honestly, but there's also a lot of hope, and we have to look at the positive ways that we can have influence out there within our own small communities, our club, and reach out statewide and nationwide. Every little thing we do has an impact, and I'm just happy to be here with such an amazing group of people. And Patricio, I believe you can close us out on intros.
Hello, everybody. I'm Patricio, for the ones who don't know me, Patricio Gallo. I've been in this group for some time, since I think the beginning. And I haven't been able to join the last few meetings. But yeah, I enjoy this. This group is very nice. And I share the same concerns that we have. The environment is not getting the attention that it needs. And that's the main problem for me, because if we don't, especially a political area, we don't pay attention, or they don't pay attention. We need regulations to control the problems that we have. Without regulations, the problems are gonna keep going worse. I mean, the pessimistic side, I'm sorry to say that. I mean, I want to do something I always do in my circle, on my home, the way I live, trying to do things that help the environment. But if you see at the bigger scale, I'm not very optimistic. Sorry. And I pass to Jeffrey. I don't know if you spoke already.
I'm it. No, wait.
Yeah, Michael Martin, introduce yourself.
Okay. Yeah. Hi, everybody. Good to see y'all. It has been a while, and I'm glad for Saturday mornings. They, in general, are better for me. So if this sticks, and yeah, I'm glad. So thanks for. I'm glad to be here with y'all today. I think I've known everybody over the years, pretty much, and so great to be with y'all. Because I've been in this clean energy business for 15 years and seen incredible, beautiful things happen mainly. Yeah, this is a very hard time. However, we did survive one beat back, whatever you want to say, in Austin. That whole session was a constant freaking beat down. So we got to keep working now at the DC level, and I'll talk about that when I talk solar in a few minutes. So anyway, I will just say this, I have my down moments for sure. And I think it's really important to just recognize, personally, I say, that is cool. Feels shitty right now, Michael. But I come out of it, and there's so much good stuff. And I believe long term, and when you talk about where we're really going over time, we're good. This is, and I'll talk about that again in a few minutes. So, but and No Kings was so fun last Saturday, wherever y'all were. I was in Austin. Oh, talk about feeling good with other humans I didn't even know. That's what lifts me up. Feeling good with other humans I don't even know. So.
It was uplifting just to be surrounded. Everybody was peaceful and supportive. We were all pissed off, but supportive, unified.
Yes.
I heard somewhere there was 17,000, more than 17,000 downtown Dallas. I don't know if that's true, but it seemed like it.
We're in the era of exaggerating crowd size, Jan. We know somebody that does that. So let's just triple those numbers. 50,000.
Really? Well, I personally witnessed it because I got to say, I stopped into a little coffee shop to cool off and get a drink because I had run out of water. And I sat there, and it was on a corner, and the crowd was just flowing by. And I was in there almost 10 minutes, and it just kept going. That's how many people were there. And I hopped in, and there was plenty still behind me. I think that was pretty awesome. So, hey, y'all, I do have an agenda I could put up here if you like, and then we would like to go through our meeting rules and land acknowledgement. Would someone care to read those two items? We've posted the land acknowledgement in our chat. Does anybody have the meeting rules handy? Frankly, I can't
Yeah,
see this
I
morning.
have it, Jan.
Oh, thank you, Mike.
Well, I'll go ahead and do the first one if somebody wants to read the second one, but I have them. Community ground rules make space or take space. Speak from the I perspective. Practice active listening and seek to understand. Assume good intentions and respect one another's space, time, and interest. Be willing to be uncomfortable and open to productive discomfort. Intent does not negate impact. Disagree without discord. Personal attacks and labeling have no space or place in our chapter. And accept that there is no quick fix. Okay. And would anybody like to read the Indigenous acknowledgement, or?
I'll do it. Happy to do it. We at the Climate Reality Dallas-Fort Worth chapter acknowledge the ongoing harm caused by colonialism and white supremacy perpetuated in Texas. Indigenous communities have suffered genocide and forced removals from their lands. We recognize that we are all standing on land stolen from Indigenous people, particularly those of Kickapoo, Wichita, Tawakoni, Chemanos, and Comanche in the DFW areas. We are committed to cultivating mindfulness around the history of Native lands and communities through continuous education, participation, and active listening.
I'm listening, but do I hear anything else?
Dan, you're muted if you're trying to talk. Otherwise, okay. I can go ahead with my opening remark if you'd like me to. Okay. Yeah, you're still muted. So I want to just share with everybody. Yes, I'm in Florida, and you know, one of the newscasters over here had posted something on their Facebook page, and what I think I'm seeing more and more, finally, some people speaking out that should have been speaking out a long time ago. Bear with me, it's not that long, but this question comes up. And so he started his post with, native Floridians often say, and I think this goes like nationwide, and definitely Texas feels this question too, but it didn't used to be this hot, you know, is the comment or the question, right? And this gentleman's answer is, they are right. It didn't used to be this hot. So 90-degree days have doubled. The heat index days above 100 have increased 4 times since 1970. It's not a coincidence, it's climate change. The extra heat is driven by the buildup of heat trapping greenhouse gases and also the increase in the urban environment, or what is referred to as our urban heat island sometimes. Warmer air also means the air now has a little more humidity. Dew points have increased. The result is more oppressive and longer summers. As some commenters have mentioned, this is not an exact applies a comparison. We have only been through 4 full summers in the 2020s, and of course it may temporarily cool some in the coming years, but truth be told, I don't think it will cool by much. So that, you know, the question remains, like, how can we have an impact? And I think it begs us to make sure we have an impact, and the hows will build and build, and we have our ways. We have, you know, the protests, you know, are very much directed at our, you know, the needs of our democracy right now, and often that can take away from the rest of the conversation. So we're here doing our thing, and I think every little bit that we can do, you know, changing one mind at a time to get that collective surge we need to wake everybody up. And so I'm in this fight with you all, and that's it for me.
Thank you for that. That's a really great thought to start our meeting on. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
I don't know why when I was sharing the screen before it wouldn't let me unmute. So, sorry about that. But the good news is it's time for our presentation today, and Michael Martin is going to be sharing with us. And let me just give you a quick, let me stop this. Let me just give you a quick overview about Michael. Most of us know him as one of our long-term members. Michael's president of the Solar Advisory, and he took the training in Pittsburgh in 2017 for Climate Reality Project. Michael's been in the solar field since 2010, after 25 years in information technology. His passion has always been helping companies who seek to adopt high-value solutions that enhance their positions as market and community leaders. Michael now directs his energy into serving early solar adopters in the commercial, industrial property markets who are ready to lead with clean, affordable, reliable, resilient, on-site solar power in his state home of Texas. Michael's active, including board service and volunteering with a wide range of nonprofits, such as social service agencies, cancer foundations, environmental groups, and schools. And as if that's not enough, he has 4 adult daughters, and he is out on his road bike at White Rock very often. So I guess Michael doesn't sleep, but we're super glad he's here with us today and looking forward to hearing from him.
Yeah, thanks. Really glad to be here. And yeah, this is always a real pleasure, and I'm grateful for these opportunities to share what I know, what I'm learning, what I continue to learn about, you know, this part of our existence, and it's how we're powering our lives and doing it in better ways. You know, the thing I got out of my software life so much was because of the work I was doing there, and supply chain optimization was continuous improvement, continuous improvement. And it's funny that, you know, there's lots we care about in the Climate Reality Project, but in this sector of energy and power, it's really ironic that we have not advanced far at all. We are using largely technologies that, you know, Westinghouse and Edison and Einstein, Tesla and all those guys came up with, right? So it's kind of crazy when you think about it. And so I like to remind people that the great American way is to improve and innovate and take risks to make things better. So I always like to put that into the conversation when I talk with people, because it's kind of shocking how archaic things are still, because the model of digging shit up and burning it and creating energy and sending it over long power lines is not changed in 150 years. So that's why my focus on distributed rooftop, and just like we've done in computing, right? We all have these in our pockets now, and everybody carries a computer around. We're all going to get in the power business, is what I tell people. But I've also learned that a lot of people I don't think want to be in the power business. And I understand that. They just want to plug in and pay their cheap bill. And I always did that as a Texan myself. So I get that. So I try and be aware of the context and who I'm talking to in their framework, you know, in their frame of reference. Because most people are not like me. And so that's one of the things I've come to learn, is like really trying to figure out where is this person? What's their experience? How can we talk about this? And in this day and age, the notion of using climate sustainability language, we've lost that temporary battle. We'll get that back, because those are just facts and good words to communicate with people. But I always talk about just pollution and waste. You know, that's kind of where I like to lead the conversation, because I'll start meetings with, okay, anybody, if you're a fan of pollution and waste, raise your hand, and no hands go up, right? Duh. So anyway, okay, well, let me get into this, and let me do one quick thing here. There we go. I'm going to switch this because my monitors were where I couldn't see any of y'all, and all I saw was my presentation. So let me tweak this to where that doesn't do that.
Will you be able to share the slides with us, Michael, so that we don't have to take detailed?
Oh yeah, I already sent a PDF to Jan.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So Jan, feel free to send that to everybody, okay?
Will do.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so the way my screen's working right now, I've got full screen presentation. So please just vocally jump in anytime as we go through this, or wait till the end. It doesn't matter to me, but I welcome anybody to say, hey, Michael, what about that, as I go through? Okay, so feel free. So solar power value, I also learned from my tech career to always talk about the value proposition. That's just what I like to do. And I think it's easier to advocate for things. And in my past life, I would say sell. I don't sell anymore. I'm advocating and educating and trying to inspire people to take an action that they want to take. That's my work, meaning business people, because my focus is on commercial solar. So that's that's an important nuance to all of this. And so the value of solar is significant. So for me, it's a beautiful thing to be involved with, because I like to promote things that have value and that have value for lots of people, like solar does, as we know in this group. And, you know, I think everybody here has a fair understanding, but it varies probably of solar, and you're going to get all these. So not knowing who would be here, I always like to just say, listen, this solar technology is amazing, simple stuff that works really well. And the sunlight hits the panels, it goes through an inverter, it gives you power in your house. And then if you have extra power, it sends it to the grid. And oh, by the way, what's not in here now is a battery. You could stick a battery in this configuration to store your extra power to use at night, like I do here at my place. And then you want to have a good site. These are good basics. Obviously, no shading. People can get that one, but south-facing roof is really important.
Mike, are we supposed to be seeing slides at this moment?
Yeah. Is it not sharing?
No.
Oh, it was. I thought it was.
Yeah, it was, but it vanished. It went
Okay. Hold on. Thank you for saying that. That's kind of important. It's the whole point here. Okay. Now we got it.
Yeah, but we're seeing all of the slides at once.
Yeah. Let me get it into presentation mode. Okay. We
That-
good?
You got it. Thank you.
Okay. Good. Thank you for pointing that out. I was only one slide into it. So there's what I was just saying, the basics of solar. Let's not burn too much time on that today. But I also like to point out to people, this blows people away that don't know anything about it. I'll ask another question. Have you ever bought anything that has a 25-year warranty? Nobody's hand goes up unless they are a solar owner. Think about it. This stuff sits out on your roof every moment of every day and takes everything, and they last. They really do. And they're warranted and blah, blah, blah. And they handle hail. I always show that to people in North Texas because, you know, people always ask here about, ooh, how about hail? There's some fun videos online you can go find, and there's a link to one there to watch how they can handle that. And so as long as you have a good new roof or new-ish, less than 5 years facing south, it's going to last, it's going to work. And oh, by the way, the toxicity of solar and batteries has been source of so much misinformation lately. It's like, listen, we recycle everything now that makes money. Solar recycling makes money, like batteries, like electronics, like cars, like all this stuff. We break them down, we sell the materials, and they get reused. The same thing is happening with solar and batteries already. So anybody that, you know, hates on that is just wanting to hate on it, and they're not informed. So I've gotten really good at picking out those people, by the way. Okay, another thing. Okay, so why has solar, which I'm going to show you just where it's gone in our country and the world in the last few years, why is this happening? Well, people like it. Okay, that's good. There's nothing, you don't hear horror stories about solar like, ooh, my gosh, I don't know, pick a horror story. They just don't happen. There's tons of money available to fund solar, whether it's at your home or on a building or a big utility scale stuff like I used to do. And then look at this, the cost declines. This is like the equivalent of the, you know, better, faster, cheaper revolution of technology. It's the same thing. And it's really better and cheaper, faster as well, but it's mainly been a fact of global scaling. But this happens to be the time period exactly I've been in the industry, 14, 15 years, 77% cost declines. This is for commercial solar. It's kind of the same for utility and residential. It's like, wow. And so as a result, and this is dated, I mean, you get the point here though. It's happening everywhere. We're probably to 30 million homes now. And, you know, it just, you get it. It's up and to the right. It's everywhere. That's what I love about this. Also being a Texan, many of us who are native Texans have experienced in our lives pure coincidental value, the fact that Texas sits on the Permian Basin, and we have been lucky, right? And a lot of people here have been lucky. But the great thing about wind and solar and batteries, this is for everybody everywhere. This is really democratized power as opposed to, hey, we Texans are so great, but we just happen to be sitting on the greatest oil play on the planet. That's just lucky. This could be called Alabama, and you know what I mean? So I love this other part of solar is it's happening everywhere. And so here's where we see it, right? And, you know, it's funny, I think the business property solar, like at Target, for instance, pretty much every Target has solar on the roof. So I'm going to guess that my friends here, everybody has shopped at Target or does shop at Target. I don't know if you do or whatever, but who here knows that Target has solar on all their rooftops? Who knows that? Ah, okay, Jayshree, woo, okay. So does, well, I'll show you some others in a minute, but the problem is these businesses don't have a sign where you walk in and say, by the way, this is a solar powered, clean building. This is what we're doing for our community and you are customers. You'd think if one person a day would go, I'm totally loyal here now, that would be worth it. But these people don't promote it. It drives me nuts. Anyway, but there they are. So here's some others. This is really cool just for you guys to tell people. Look at the company list there. Target, Walmart, Amazon, IKEA, Whole Foods, Aldi, Home Depot. This is where America shops and nobody knows this. And this is also part of what I try and tell, you know, Joe or Jane Dallas, business CEO that owns a property is, these guys are already doing this. They've taken all the risk out. So don't be a chicken. I don't talk that way to them, but you know, that's what I want to say is don't be a chicken. But most of them are chickens because around here, there's not many rooftops like this. There's some. All the big brands, yeah, like Whole Foods and Target and IKEA, yes, but local businesses, very limited penetration still so far, but it'll happen. I know it will. And so I hang in there. And then here, speaking of those kinds operations or businesses. So, y'all think about this, business people or commercial property people, if this is kind of their profile, then they totally should do this. I would say they should do it. But, the main thing is kind of the second bullet. And again, language these days notwithstanding, it's really got to be an organization that says, we want to do this. We believe that we are accountable for waste and pollution of our business, of our building. We're going to do something about it. And once they get there, it's just make it happen, because you know how people are, and especially business people, as soon as they want to do something, they'll make the numbers work and justify it. They'll change their payback horizon to work. And they'll also often use it to kill a project. I've seen that many more times than the opposite, which is that just takes too long. We can't wait that long for payback. And I want to say, so you're going to be out of business in 4 years, or wow, that's really depressing. But it's the reality of American business, short-term metrics, right? And returns. But anyway, solar fits in so many flat rooftop places, not really tall buildings, got to have a good roof. And it's really good if, of course, you've done other measures like really good insulation, other efficient equipment, LED lighting. Those are the things, certainly the lower hanging fruit, as this group knows, around efficiency in buildings. And then this is the great thing to then take control of your costs by providing X amount of your power. Maybe it's a third, maybe a half, maybe 2/3 of your power or more on an annual basis, that you fix the cost now. And that gets into this, which is, what does it really matter? Some of this is brand and qualitative, but some of this is also then, do it on the spreadsheet. And you're for sure going to get these great upfront tax incentives. And we're going to get to this in a minute about the threat to those right now. And for however much of your power you produce, think about it. It's not, that part of your power is never going to increase in price again. That's a big thing, I would think, for a financial strategy for a commercial property or a commercial business. And, add value to your property. When you sell your building, increasingly, it's going to be more valuable if you have a power plant on the roof of your building. Most don't today. I've heard about this in other markets like New Jersey, where they have, believe it or not, New Jersey is the state in the country that has the most commercial rooftop kind of penetration per capita on the roof of businesses. They went after that years ago. So up there, for instance, a building equivalent, but one has a power plant, that's probably going to be the one somebody wants to buy, is the one that's got its own power plant, because that means operational costs will be lower and blah, blah, blah. And if people really care about demonstrating real sustainability and adding to their brand value, that's where their marketing people need to use the hell out of this, right? Tell people all of the time, like Target and Walmart and Whole Foods don't tell us. I don't get it, but anyway. Okay, now let's zero in. Next few slides are just to kind of summarize how it's been lately. I mean, again, y'all are going to get this. I'm not going to read all this, but look at this increase. Annual record, largest ever, record breaking. I mean, hey, let's be in U.S. Congress and let's try and break this freaking thing that's working really well. Let's just fucking break it. Because that's basically what they're doing. They're breaking it for ideological reasons, which I'll get to in a moment. But look at this. Talk about something that is working. Oh my gosh. And here's the really cool thing. Look at this second one. 66% of all new power plants in America were from solar. 2/3 solar. So if we're going to make it harder for people like me and the utility scale people in particular to do big solar, what's going to happen there? Nobody is talking about that. The other big thing about domestic stuff, this isn't some new President 47 thing. The last administration was all over this and started promoting and incentivizing, bring things to America. The pandemic woke us up to many supply chain issues in all kinds of industries, and this is one of them, solar. So look at that. Domestic module manufacturing is growing like crazy, and it doesn't happen overnight. You have to build a plant. You have to bring the IP. You have to bring the people. You got to start production and scale up. It was already happening in Texas and Georgia and all these red states. So as it says there, largely concentrated in the South. And by the way, last year, Texas moved to #1 in the country for overall amount of solar. Did anybody here know that? Anybody heard that stat this past year? So yay, because everything's bigger in Texas, but I'm a native Texan, so I can, here's the thing, per capita, we're like 20. So I don't think we're doing that great. Of course, we're going to be largest at a macro level because we're Texas, we're huge. We're the 6th biggest economy on the planet. We have 30 million people. But per capita, we're not, we're getting crushed by all kinds of other states. And that's what matters to me. And I think that's a better metric. So check this out. These are a bunch of words. Check out this chart. This is worldwide. This is an international energy research organization. Internationally, look at the green is the renewable power plants. So that would include wind, maybe batteries, maybe some hydro in some places where hydro is still happening. But look at the renewable, and this is in the whole century, since 2000, basically. Look at that. This is what the world is doing. It is working really well, you know, and it's working in places where you can't build grids. Think about the developing world where you can build a solar power plant for a village or just a single hut. Super impactful. You can't do that with a methane gas turbine or a coal plant or a nuke plant. So this stuff is totally game changing. This is by any reasonable measure what we need to keep doing. And then in the US for the last 15 years, I don't know why they put solar in this reddish color, but I've tried to stand it out here for you. 70%, 60 to 70%. This is the new generation stuff in the US. Look at natural gas, which was this greenish aqua color. Look at that. Look how it shrunk. So this is what's really happening. Why do we want to stop and break this? This is incredibly impactful and good economically, jobs, environmentally. And then this just breaks down the solar piece by residential, commercial, meaning non-residential, or utility. So again, the forecast from Wood Mackenzie, who's very reputable here, this is their forecast they have through 2030 right now. So, man. So, as I mentioned earlier, we got through some really horrible stuff in Austin, which took a lot of energy out of a lot of us, but we did it. We beat those things back. And I won't get into all those, and maybe you knew, I'm sure some of y'all knew some about that. So solar's okay here at Texas, but we had no local incentives. They were trying to put obstacles in the way. Now, at a federal level, the House in May passed some ridiculously horrible, the one big beautiful bill, which is just embarrassing to even think they would call, you know, American legislation by such a second grade name, but we know where the name came from. First of all, it's got way too much stuff in it. We all know that too. I hope they'll break it up. But in terms of energy and where they're picking on the IRA, the Inflation Reduction Act, is the two things. Just basically, there's some other details in here, but the elimination of the investment tax credit, which is very significant, 30% or more, and prohibition of tax credit transfers, which basically, it's kind of complicated, but it enables funding to happen, and let's say $1 million to be made from investors who want to support somebody going solar because they want to invest and own it, but there have tax credits have to be shared and transferred and all that kind of stuff. So they're getting in the way of all these beautiful things that are working. And oh, by the way, I haven't put it here. The fossil fuel industry have had permanent incentives in their tax code for decades or a century. So we're not picking on that. We're like, okay, those are there. But the problem is the renewable ones in the last 10, 15, 20 years have had this thing where they're time bound. So they come up again, and then the political winds have shifted, and then they tear them down. So, but I've already been through how many administrations of different flavor over the past 15 years, but now it's just plain hateful with no concept of this works or it's good for my constituents. Because another chart I have, which I'm not showing here, is where so much of the IRA money has flowed. The vast majority, like 70% of it, has gone to red Republican states. And this is what they're talking about eliminating, which is going to really piss off their constituents more than they're already pissed off. So if we have to take this short term, I don't think it'll last, because long term, this makes total sense. Or remove fossil fuel credits, and then you raise everybody's pricing, you know, through the roof, which is going to happen with this anyway. When if again, we're limited on clean energy deployment, we're going to have a serious problem with cost, reliability, and pollution from our power sector. So the last thing I say is, listen, it's still going on. I harass my representatives, meaning Cornyn and Cruz, principally, mainly Cornyn. Julie Johnson, who's my rep, doesn't need to hear from me because she's on the right side of this. But we can still be, the more calls, the more letters they get because they're still working on it. Then we can maybe have an impact. Maybe there's one call that trips somebody over. So I encourage you to do what you can. And so let me stop there. Let's talk a little bit and then whatever else we need to do today. I don't want to overgo with just my talking here, but the final thing I love to share with people is like, okay, nah. So what if it's a hoax? Look at all the bad stuff that happens with this hoax, you know, good jobs, better place to live, better energy stuff, cheaper power, healthy kids. Nah, I know those are terrible things, aren't they? Okay, so I'll shut up now. I'd love to hear what y'all think about this. I try and keep it really basic. I'm not trying to impress anybody with any technical stuff, that's for sure. I'm just trying to talk about how bloody, obviously good and simple this is. So, anybody disagree?
Awesome, Michael. Such good information. I'm so glad. And by the way, I put that slideshow into the chat
Cool.
for everybody.
Yep.
I have a question. I mentioned I work in the solar industry. My company is kind of a young startup and they make the inverters that work with the panels and the batteries. And we have been trying as a solar energy company to get panels on our roof. They did it in Plano at their old plant quickly, but then they moved to Allen about almost 2 years ago before I worked there. We're just now this month getting the solar panels because there was so much administrative roadblocks and bureaucracy. And I was amazed to hear how different it was from one little suburb to the next, right next door. Have you seen that it's very different or easier or harder? Just wondered if you could talk to that.
Yes, it's wildly variable, which is super frustrating, especially for those of us, and especially the solar installation companies who are partners of mine who actually pull the permits, deal with the AHJs, they're called Authority of Having Jurisdiction, if you've heard that term, AHJs. So Frisco is an AHJ, Plano, Dallas. It's maddening. The good news is something good from the Texas legislature. They passed a law that says, the shorthand version, and I don't know the technical aspects of how it'll be implemented, is that if you, Frisco, take longer than X to approve something that an independent, registered, certified third-party engineer says is good and safe and good to go, then the customer gets to go ahead if you guys mess around and don't. And I think it's going to be short, like a week. They're not going to give them long. And this is a tee-up to ultimately, hopefully, an expansion of a thing called Solar App. If y'all have heard about Solar App or Solar App Plus, it's this automated solar permitting tool that NREL out of the DOE has made available to American jurisdictions for years now, and they implement it, and it's self-serve. So Jan or whoever your business exec is that be doing it would go in and fill it out. If it checks all the boxes, boom, issues you a permit. Just like when we do that, register our car, you do your car thing online, you pay your money, it comes in the mail, you're good, right?
Very simple.
So this is one good thing in Texas. So yay. What y'all experienced hopefully becomes a historical story.
Are you saying that will be implemented statewide?
It's a state law.
When does that going to be in effect?
That I don't know. I would say, I don't know its effective date. And then the effective date, they may then give jurisdictions some time to comply, or they might, it's already, anyway, I don't know all the details of it. I'll try and report that back as I learn when that's going to happen, but that's a good thing.
That's fantastic news. Thank you.
There's the one pro-solar thing that happened in Austin, this legislature.
I can't wait to spread that around. That's great to hear.
Yeah. Harass me about that, please. I'll make sure and get some info and figure out when we'll have details so you can then share that with whomever. Yeah.
Absolutely. Our company might also not need to get that word out to our customers.
Yeah. You probably have somebody there that tracks all that legislative stuff. So.
Yes, I don't know.
Okay.
Well, I think we're open for discussion. I've kicked it off. Anybody else want to chime in? Just raise your hand or unmute.
Mike wants.
My question is on the solar leaders, and you saw that big list of big businesses that are doing that. Were you talking about Texas or just nationwide or?
That was a nationwide, those are nationwide stats. Yes. Yeah. And that doesn't even, in addition, and that was all the ones that have direct deployments of solar, because the other part, right, is that these companies also will then buy power from wind or solar, whatever, right? They'll buy. So most of those companies also get all their non-on-site power from clean sources too. But I just try to focus on the rooftop piece. Yeah. Isn't it maddening that like they don't tell us this when we shop there? Like, it seems like a good thing to tell people.
Absolutely. Well, they're all trying to walk that fine line, obviously, not offend anyone, and it's a shame that that would offend anybody.
Well, it's not new anymore. For these stores have been doing it for years. And you know, for me, just one personal story is I have, for various reasons, mainly around the people side of the business. I've not been much of a Walmart fan over the years, and I like to shop small anyway. But I will say that since 2020, their CEO Doug McMillon has embraced a very aggressive sustainability strategy for their company, and not just forcing all their supply chain people to do everything, but for their own, like rooftop solar and other things they do in their stores and in their fleets. So I admire them greatly for that. So the biggest company on the planet, aren't they? Or the biggest employer on the planet, they have a lot of reach. So that's cool stuff. But again, Jane retailer doesn't, or shopper doesn't know that. You know, business people know that, people that study their business and look at their blah, blah, blah. But that's good stuff. I'm glad they're doing that. Makes me feel good about the biggest company on the planet in that regard, you know, operationally. So.
Anybody else? If not, I think time has flown. It's already 10:50. So thank you so much, Michael. Just
fun.
packed with information. Really appreciate you.
I just wanted to add, Michael, you look surprised, but how did I know that Target has solar? Because you are the one who presented in your previous, and you gave us, since I attend most, I knew that.
Yes, you know what? I've also learned that you got to repeat things over and over and over and over. It's okay.
Okay, I'm juggling all my screens here. I'm going to put back the agenda. Can you guys see this? Yes? Okay. All right.
I have a question. Can I? Please.
Jan,
What?
you're exactly on time. Look at that. Impressive.
That's never happened. That's the first time that's ever happened. So
Sorry,
thank you.
Patricio.
Sure. Well, yesterday I was talking with a friend. He was going to buy a house. And then as soon as he saw that house has solar panels on the roof, he said, no, I'm not buying that house because that house has a lien because of the solar panels. I really am not convinced on the financing part of these type of things, blah, blah. And he walked away from the house, even though he liked the house, but the solar panels actually was the red line for him. So any comments about that, the financial part?
Well, yeah, you want to understand if that thing still has some financing that you're going to inherit, but I would say, okay, just look at the deal and have the previous owner give you some info on how it's worked and then make your decision. Because that's crazy. Yeah, I don't know why that to me is giving me an indicator, Patricio, that that's somebody who's just for some reason, they're a hater.
No, actually, he at one point he wanted to put solar panel in the house that he lives in.
Good.
But when he was talking with these vendors, these companies that install the solar panels, they say no, they're trying to put a lien on my house. I don't want that, and I really don't think it's a great idea to pay so much money right now for basically buying the electricity for now for the future, basically, right? Because you put so much money up front and say, no, I don't like that. It doesn't make sense to me. So that's the lines
Well,
that he's walking and thinking about
Yeah.
this.
Well, here's what he could do. Look at the payments for that solar on the house he might buy. And then ask them if it has been, how's that compared to the savings? Then it's really simple. It's a good financial decision. And a $20,000 lien on a partially paid off thing, if I'm assuming this house is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, I don't think that's going to hang anybody up too bad. That's kind of like making a mountain out of a molehill to me, but I don't know your friend. He can call me if I could help.
Sure, yeah, that would be good. Okay, well, thanks for the info. Appreciate it.
People are so scared of change. It's just as you were saying, they're chicken. Cool. Well, thanks, Michael. We could probably quiz you all day, but we kind of promised ourselves to make these a little shorter if we possibly can. So, next up, very brief report on committees, which I think we only have one. Unless I missed somebody, let me know. But Jayashri, could you speak to the book club plan?
Yeah, sure. So generally we have the book club on as a quarter. It's a quarterly meeting, but we were supposed to have it today, but it coincided with her new timing. So with Jan's input, we decided to move it to July after 4th of July holiday, so that more people can participate. And this time we have decided to do it in person and probably at a restaurant where we can have like a lunch out if people want to join, and a book discussions. And the book to be discussed is Service Berry by Robin Wall Kimmerer. And I have read another book by her, Braiding Sweetgrass, was lovely book. At that time, everybody loved it, all those who attended the book club at that time. And this one is a very short, I have the book, I can show you later. It's a very thin book, very quick read, and you'll finish it in maybe one day if you give it some time, or in 2 days. But it is so much full of wisdom, like common sense. As Michael was saying, it's like, duh, like everything is there, we are seeing it is benefit, and yet they're not helping the solar or renewable energy. Something like that is right in front, the economy, and how she talks about all flourishing is mutual. I love that quotation, that if you flourish, you cannot be like stunting something or somebody and then flourishing. When flourishing really happens when everyone flourishes. So it's a beautiful, like philosophical life lessons from nature, from ecosystem, lovely book. And so I recommend, even if you're not part of the book, you don't want to come, but read it for your own. Jeffrey was talking about this stuff we all feel, and that helps with that, to understand the whole picture and for your own satisfaction. And this is about the book. And there's one thing I will, Michael, you mentioned about how people are aware, talking about longer solar summers and warmer and rain and blah, blah, all the effects of climate. But I also notice it is creeping up in common conversations. So just by the way, yesterday I was watching a movie by Almodovar. I don't know how to pronounce his name. And it's called The Room Next Door. It's a beautiful movie. And I love New York. So they have scenes from New York. And she talks about, oh, look at the sun flakes, the snowflakes. They are pinkish color. Oh, climate change has at least some good things to give us. Like, little things that you notice, because my ears always up for climate change. What is, all that stuff. And it's a beautiful movie. So yes, it is creeping into a common conversation. Even people who have not been a big advocates, like it shows up. So that's about it.
And Strawberry is the name?
The name of the book is Service Berry.
Service Berry. Sorry, I'm looking at it. Okay, it looks cool. Thank you for that. I'm going to check that out.
It's a beautiful book.
Yeah.
It's the same author that did Breading Sweetgrass, which we read
Yeah.
at the book club. That was a very good book that we enjoyed.
Thank you, Jayashri.
Mm.
And Almodovar, I love him. My favorite movie probably is Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown. If you've ever had a chance to catch it, hilarious.
Michael has something to say. Mike, I mean, sorry. Sorry to
Yes.
cut you off, Jan.
No, no worries.
So,
Yeah, I was just about to say, he told me he needed to make an announcement of some
I-
kind, so you're
well,
up.
I have a question first. So I was making a note. I heard July 4th, the July 4th week. And Jan and you both were talking about combining a social with the book club meeting, and we don't have a date yet. Did I miss?
We do have a date, the end of July, July 26th. Can you guys see the screen? I thought I was sharing.
It's a little small print, but other than that,
What? Oh, huh. So
expanded.
sorry about that.
Your-
I'll try to do better. Let me see if I could
Your
enlarge.
agenda? Yeah, we can see. I keep toggling back and forth.
Yeah, we're all having computer issues today. Me included.
So, okay, my report. Oh, can I go ahead? My report. So basically, we've made progress on the 2025 goals. It is a work in progress, and I think my hope is to actually turn these into basically a smooth transition into 2026. So a working document that we can just push forward. But I wanted to give everybody just a really brief idea of what we got going on. The goals are, they're pretty extensive, but Chip and I and Jayashree confirming, we've narrowed down two main goals for our chapter. And my intent, my hope is to have this for presentation in our next meeting as something that we can vote on and pass. So basically the two issues of focus are chapter membership and activism to rejuvenate and rebuild this chapter. Okay, and I'm going to keep this very brief. So I'm not going to get into the specific details, but that is the overarching the goal is to build the chapter and to build active members in the chapter. Okay, and then the second one is a little bit based on previous discussions from last year, going through the beginning of this year. Our education, it seems to be the highlight and what a lot of people appreciate. For example, having Michael here today doing an amazing, fantastic presentation on solar. So the goal there would be to continue finding dynamic speakers, things very relevant to the DFW area or the state of Texas. And of course, in that general sense that we also have nationwide and we are connected, we are one planet. So our education can go in a lot of different directions as long as we keep doing that. So I want to encourage everybody to keep our eyes and ears open for potential speakers for our meetings. And so there's more to that, that whole thing. We have Al Gore's slide deck. We have other presentations that are readily available that we can do short clips or longer clips during our meetings to help inspire each other and to educate each other. That's the goal. So those are our two main goals. There are more, but I just wanted to share those two of building our chapter membership and active members and education. And that is it. If anybody else has brief reports from their specific areas, please.
Hey, Mike, question for you.
Yes.
What about, I don't know if this has happened anytime recently or not, but EVs, kind of an update because that's so relevant can be relevant to everybody around here because most of us have to have a car to drive. So I don't know where if there's been anybody do kind of a EV 101 kind of thing anytime lately, if that would be interesting.
Thank you, Michael. Actually, I'm working on that. I've been trying to get hold of people at NT-REG, and their website contact options are all broken. I've been trying to find a contact there where I could get hold of them, but they could do such a presentation. If not, I could find somebody else. But I totally agree. That would be great for us. Thanks.
Didn't we do one from the Chicago chapter not that many months ago?
Probably, but I don't think it's ever too much to do it again. But
Okay.
that's a good idea. I could look back and maybe find a contact that way.
Well,
Yeah,
let me know, Jan, because, are you a member of NT-REG?
No, somebody came up to me at Oak Cliff. Oh, they had a booth at Oak Cliff Earth
Yeah.
Day, and I got some flyers from them, and that's where I got the idea.
I know the guys there, have been a member there a long time. So if you want to send me whatever, let me
Oh,
send it to a few guys.
that would be great. I've been trying to figure out who I could just contact
Yeah.
directly.
And then, you know, it can get in the queue for whenever. I mean, it may be months
Yes.
out or whoever, but I also know a guy who's in the EV charging business, but that's a little different. So anyway, send me whatever I can just forward on and I'll connect you.
That would be fantastic. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. And other ideas like this, I'm the one who's supposed to be booking this stuff. So y'all feel free to contact me directly if you have any other great ideas for monthly speakers. So, all right, cool. Anybody else? I don't think there's any more people here to talk, except we definitely wanted to hear from Chip. He has some information to share.
Okay. And on the EV point, one of the people that presented to us on this topic was Tom Coleman, the chair or co-chair of the Chicago chapter. So getting them to do an updated version would be interesting. I just wanted to let y'all know, and I hope we can actually send out a blast to our full hundreds of members locally, because it is a really crucial point on this solar legislation that Michael was referencing. We were all hoping the Senate version of the bill would be better than the House bill, and unfortunately, it's pretty devastating. If anybody wants a full copy of the text, if you want to navigate through that, let me know. Just email me. I'll send you a link to that. I did put a link in the chat, though, for this action item. It's still in flux, but the president said that July the 4th, Independence Day, is his deadline to have a bill on his desk, and they're still reconciling it. But you know, even though the overall bill is unpopular with the American public, including because of the Medicare cuts, the cuts to renewable energy are really pretty devastating. You know, they were in the House bill. The Senate bill didn't add very much, especially for solar and wind, EV tax credits, hydrogen, consumer-facing credits. The tax credits were all either you know, eliminated as they were in the House bill, or they were slightly extended by the Senate bill. So for example, you know, you still have for solar energy a full tax credit available if it started in 2025, I think. 60% in 2026 start, 20% if in 2028 and following, zero after that. So it's just it's something that, unless we get changed back to something that's consonant with the urgent need in the world approach that Michael was talking about, you know, it's basically gutting the IRA. It's going to lead to increased emissions, about 1 billion metric tons per year by 2035. It'll increase energy cost, as Michael was referencing, including, you know, a lot of, I mean, as he said, the pro-fossil fuel subsidies are continuing at a huge rate, but they've even in the Senate bill expanded the pro-fossil fuel terms. It's pretty unbelievable. The one good thing that did happen is that they did restore, because of industry lobbying and the fact that the EPA secretary is an investor in a geothermal, you know, as well as a shale company. I forget the name, it's Forvin or something like that. Geothermal and hydropower and nuclear subsidies were put back in the Senate, along with some energy storage battery subsidies. So that's the best that can be said about the Senate bill. But the overall approach of decreasing the investments that were made in the IRA, it's going to cost hundreds of thousands of jobs, especially in the most vulnerable communities, including impacts on small businesses, including increasing on air pollution. So it's going to increase deaths, decreasing health, along with the other cuts to like Medicare, Medicaid, all that. And it'll have an adverse impact on human rights. If later this year we want to talk about climate and human rights, I do that. And I'll be doing a bunch of those talks in the fall. So if you want, we could add that to, you know, our local schedule. But you know, the one action item, the next 2 weeks are critical, you know, in the lead up to.
Yeah.
And so I really do think we ought to send a blast out to all of our members, including inactive ones. Climate Reality sent an email to everybody. You probably all got it. but I'm not sure people focused on it. The people that I know locally didn't even notice it. And so I think it's really worth saying, this is a red alarm standpoint, just describing, as I just described, what the adverse impact would be. The innovative thing about the advocacy plan, it's Tuesday night, 6 p.m. our time, 7 p.m. Eastern, is that it would involve people calling people in other states, which is a proven, empirically demonstrated successful advocacy technique that can maybe move the needle on some of these issues. You've got some people like Tom Tillis in North Carolina that were extremely hostile to the clean energy tax credits. And so encouraging him to hold firmer by having people, who have contacts in that state, you basically, Climate Reality will make available members of Climate Reality in these other states that are swing states or red states. Like Michael, and I'm sure all of you, I've written our senators bunches of times and my representative in the House, and they're, they're not good ones, to say the least. They send you either back a ridiculously form letter saying it's good to hear you, or explicitly disagreeing with you. And I've got a bunch of different variants on those themes. The House member who was supporting this from the GOP was Andrew Garbarino from New York, and he gave vocal support, but he was noticeably absent, and he didn't show up for the vote. So he said he was sleeping through it, but he didn't want to be on record against it, probably. So here in Texas, of course, we have even worse representatives, people like Chip Roy, who say that if the Senate softening on these, extending the solar cutoff from the 2 months in the House bill, extending it to, the time periods that are, a couple of years with reducing amounts of credits, as I described. If those softening of the repeal of the energy tax credits for renewables maintained, Chip Roy of Texas and people like him from the extreme right are going to vote against the whole bill, they say. Who knows if they will, if they're really pressured by Trump and the administration, but we'll see. So anyway, it's an urgent issue, and
Yes, it is.
I hope everybody can join. This is a very creative, good, high impact action that we're doing with a partner called dream.org, I think is the name of our partner. But it does not have to be a Climate Reality member. So I would ask that, as I've done, tell your friends and neighbors, especially if they're in these swing states, with people like Tom Tillis, like North Carolina, people who have been vocal in support of retaining it, because it will retain jobs, it'll retain industries, it helps the community. The only reason to do this is that they're very hostile to so-called intermittent sources of energy, and they give a lot of disinformation about that. And they're hostile, of course, to the whole notion of climate change, considering it a hoax if they're extremely ideological. And they have all these really pretty bogus, empirically wildly inaccurate arguments against it. So that's where we stand. Does anybody have any questions about the action or anything else on those issues?
Yeah, Chip, when we sign up, we will then be doing what? We will then get a list of people to call?
It's a phone bank. So you go into that link that I sent, the Zoom call.
Yeah.
And then they'll tell us how to do it, but it's only a short 1 hour commitment.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
And
I signed up.
we can do it otherwise, but I think we don't think sometimes of the opportunity that we have to reach out to our contacts in swing states, whether to vote in general or to lobby in particular. And it's great, by the way, that Climate Reality Project is doing this. Jeremy Lisker, who's had these bipartisan, what do they call it? Biweekly federal defense coordination calls. They've been very good. It's usually a pretty small group. It's a little small but mighty group, but innovative brainstorming, and it's a sign that despite the concerns about maintaining their charitable status, some amount of lobbying is allowed, and this is very mild and it's extremely small compared to all of the activities of Climate Reality Project. So I think the organization has been too shy, given the urgency of and the reason for existence of the organization. Sierra Club and 350 and a lot of the others have obviously been more active on these advocacy fronts. So I think it's great that the organization nationally has given this flexibility to reach out and do this important work.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, great. Thank you. I'm gonna do that on Tuesday.
Great, thank you. I hope everybody will. It's a simple but easy thing to do.
Yeah,
Yep, I'm sorry, I
I
just
love it.
sent Paula a text to ask her if she got that email from Jeremy, and if we can do something to get that to the membership, just send it out like the newsletter. Otherwise, I can create an event on my Google Calendar and try to send it out that way. It'd be a
Right.
little easier if she did it, but
I think we need an email, and she had to drop early. She had her daughter's coming to visit or something. She put it in the chat.
yeah, I just sent
Yeah.
her a text.
We need to talk. I was wondering if if the leadership peeps could stay on for a couple of minutes after this, so we can talk about how to get this process going of sending out email blasts.
Okay.
Because we sort of stalled out trying to get a reminder for this meeting going out.
You know, the one thing I'll just offer as a recipient, for me, if my system is how others works, the good thing about calendar invites is at least for me, it pops up on my calendar, so I see it there too, as opposed to buried in email, right? So I think they're so good because then, oh, I need to respond, you know, to the invite, or oh, it's in an
Yeah.
hour, at least, as opposed to you miss it in the email and it's gone forever. So
That is such a good point. And I live by the calendar, but I was wondering, I mean, not everybody does, so I think we need to do both for sure. And
Sure.
thank you for that reminder. And again, I don't have control of the calendar either, and this is what I'd like to talk to some of the folks about, like how I can help out with this. Yeah, we just need to get more word out to everybody in many ways. So, all right, that's so good. Thanks, Chip. I appreciate it. What else do we have? Anything else from the floor?
Can I ask a general question to everyone present?
Yes.
So hi everyone. I'm exploring options of restaurants that have, like one special room where you can have large family or a large group of people sit and eat and chat together. I know of Madeline, La Madeline, and Panera's Box or Panera's Bread. Do you guys know of any other place? Because library has free rooms, but I have to book just 2 days before, and I have to know how many people, and the maximum free room that I can accommodate is about 6 people. And the bigger ones, I have to pay $100 for 2 hours.
Really?
So best option
Yeah.
is those restaurants, which I used to have other book club meeting. We were about 20 members. We mostly went to La Madeline, and it was great. We all took food from there, and we have to reserve. So I'm looking at other option. Does anyone know of, heard of, or could find out, so that I can put it in the newsletter so that 26th July, everyone who is interested or would like to attend just to meet and greet could attend that. So I will really appreciate if you guys could help me out with this.
What area, Jayashree, where do you want to have it?
Like, I was thinking something that is close to like highway and central area, like not downtown Dallas or not like far up in McKinney or Frisco, like very far off. Something like on Preston Road or 75 off, close to 75 or not tollway, which is easy for people to commute, even if they are far off.
Right,
So
okay.
I know a Madeline, which is very close to Tollway, I think. Yeah.
In
Tollway.
Addison? Is that the one in Addison?
It is in Allen, I think. I'm not sure. I look up the
Not
address.
Allen.
Not Allen, I hope.
No, not Allen then. Then it might be Addison then. I forget. I've been there once. I forget the address.
Well, Addison has practically every restaurant ever invented. There must be one there.
No,
That
I
seems
don't
a little
know,
more
but
central.
yeah.
Now, Jayashree, we could also do a Zoom with that, right? In case people do want to tune in remotely.
Many people in my feedback when I have sent out survey, they said they are tired of Zoom for
Sure.
office meeting. And that's why we were like aiming to have a in-person combined
Oh, yeah. I'm just saying do
Awesome.
both, just in case somebody can't make it because
Oh,
they're
yeah,
far
yeah, yeah.
away.
Of course, of course.
I'm all
We
about
can do
in
double.
person. That would be great.
All right, thanks.
Irving is another good Le Madeleine. That's kind of in between Fort Worth and it's accessible. I think it's good to have it on a major conduit like
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
is
I was
good.
wondering about the Fort Worth considerations, Tarrant. I just didn't know how much engagement from folks over yonder had to factor into this. You know,
Right.
Irving, versus Central Expressway, way different options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe find out who all wants to go and we could base it on that, proximity.
That's the thing. People don't respond.
I
So I'm
know.
just assuming at least 6 or 7 will attend.
Well, we're going to get better. We have got to start communicating better. I mean, I have always said we need more reminders, more simple things, not like a 20-page email because things get lost. I was even thinking about phone calls. Like, I don't know. We'll talk.
Yeah, we
There are
can
a lot of
discuss.
people on this list. There's 300 people signed up for DFW. So it's crazy. I'm just thinking there's got to be something that we're missing, and that's something to try. So, okay, good thoughts, good talk. Okay, now we're past time.
I actually
Mhm.
have to extend the time. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
On that note, there has been discussions behind the scene about a phone bank to our membership, so we'll get into that more. But since you had brought that up, I forgot. I meant to include that in my other statement, but I wanted to spend this open forum just to remind everybody today is actually International Climate Change Day. And so it's a spread the awareness kind of thing. I want to see if I can share my screen really quickly, but
When is that?
Today,
it's today.
Oh, today. Oh, it was also yoga day.
I was
Oh,
gonna say, it's a big international day.
Okay, can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
So I don't know how to, make this smaller or whatever, but this is the global map. And what this signifies is the warming stripes. And it's a showyourstripes.info. I'll throw it in the chat, but I got to this just by Googling International Climate Change Day and it took me to earth.org. So back to my original thing about our weatherman here in Tampa Bay calling out, yes, it is getting hotter. And this is hard evidence for people who love science and facts. This one is the globe. And you can change this. I don't think I can. Yeah, you
yeah.
can actually put in our country and change the map. And then there it is. So this is 100-year bar graph. And you can see how this last I think it was the mid 70s when it really started a shift. And then obviously, the last 10 to 20 years have been pretty intense. There's no denying this. And what I'd like to do is just encourage everybody, if you're into social media, maybe put this picture up. Just somehow share this with your friends, your peers, and let everybody know that, hey, you can show your stripes. The warming stripes do not lie. This is science. And
That's awesome.
and
Hey,
that's all.
Mike, if you could put that on our Facebook page, then everybody could, share it on their page or
I'll
wherever.
see if I can.
I
Yeah.
think we should confirm whether today is actually International Climate Change Day, though. I don't see it. I didn't know that if it is.
Well, I
October
get this.
24th is that's the International Day of Climate Action every year.
Yeah, I know. And I did question that initially too, Chip. And it's one of those other ones, like there was actually several climate holiday, recognize it, or days to recognize this month. And this had popped up and I was like, what was that? But anyway, I just Googled it and it said, brought up this heat map, these warming stripes and just, for people who are visual like that.
Okay.
Can I share something? So, Mike, I have used that Show Your Stripe. Last year, I think New York Times had all these maps and interactive where I could change that I'm in Texas, USA. And I did share on all my Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. So I don't know whether this is approved by Climate Reality Project, because I know New York Times had this thing last year. So this stripe seems similar, and it is put out by like international organization that monitors the heat map.
You mean when you say approve, you think they might disagree with the facts here? I'm not sure, but
No, not facts. Like, like we can do as individual, but as CRP, like
oh,
Climate Reality, that was I'm concerned, because there's so many legalities involved. That's why I did it as an individual, but
I understand your concern. I think they're mostly, in terms of our 501c3, concerned with, supporting or not supporting candidates.
Yeah, this is
political,
just
yeah.
information. I mean, this
Yeah,
is just.
I agree.
This is fair.
And also, honestly, this is a time of crisis. I believe in asking forgiveness, not permission. We should just do it till they find out and they don't like, they tell us.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, just say I'm sorry.
See, Josh, you're just so law-abiding. I love that. Well, thank you, Mike. That's awesome. Yeah, I think if you could post it on our Facebook page, it'd be super cool. Jigs is not able to be with us today. She's out of the country, but hopefully we can get this information to her because she's our social media person. I'm always happy to put stuff on Facebook, though. I am not very Instagram literate, but I definitely can do Facebook just fine.
Thank you for mentioning Jigs. She did send me something a few days ago to add to the goals, and essentially she mentioned specifically a goal of increasing our social media presence. So I know we're running short on time.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff. That's good stuff. Okay. Well, so I think we're ready for closing if there's nothing else. And
No,
no.
finishing. Yeah.
My bad. Are we ready?
I'm ready.
Jeffrey, I didn't ask you specifically if you were willing to do this. I just put you on the agenda. Am I catching you off guard?
No. If I show up, I'm willing.
We appreciate that.
And I don't know. I know that one of the books that was read in the book club was All We Can Save, and I've been part of the All We Can Save project ever since then. And this is something that came in the most recent email from the All We Can Save project, and it's a poem by Catherine Pierce called Anthropocene Pastoral. In the beginning, the ending was beautiful. Early spring everywhere, the trees, furred pink and white, lawns the sharp green that meant new, the sky so blue it looked manufactured, robins. We'd heard the cherry blossoms wouldn't blossom this year, but what was one epic blooming when even the desert was an explosion of verbena, when bobcats slinked through primroses, when coyotes slept deep in orange poppies. One New Year's Day, we woke to daffodils, wisteria, onion grass wafting through the open windows. Near the end, we were eyelidded, we were cottoned, we were undressed and barefoot. At least it's starting gentle, we said. An absurd comfort. We knew, a placebo, but we were built like that, built to say, at least, built to reach for the heat of skin on skin, even when we were already hot, built to love the purpling desert in the twilight, built to marvel over the pink bursting dogwoods, to hold tight to every pleasure, even as we rocked together toward the graying, even as we held each other warmth to warmth and said, sorry, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. while petals sifted softly to the ground all around us.
Can you put the name of the poet in the chat, Jeffrey?
Yeah.
Thank you. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Mm.
Okay, I think that's a good wrap for the day. Thank you so much for coming, y'all. I'm glad we're back to this time. I think we'll get the momentum going. We'll get the word out. Maybe we can all do a phone bank for the Climate Reality members too.
Can I just double check whether we did in fact record this this meeting?
We did, or somebody did, right?
It's
Yeah,
still
I'm
on.
recording. Yeah, it is being
Yeah, I
recorded.
just didn't. Oh, I see now. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael, and thanks for arranging it,
Yeah.
Jan. That was a great presentation, Michael.
Oh,
Yeah.
Hey, thank you. I'm happy to be here and see y'all again, really be with y'all. So let's
Yeah,
keep doing what we can do, right?
right. Hey, don't be a stranger, Michael. Coming back.
Okay, for sure. Thanks, Jan. All right, y'all be well.
Have a good weekend.
All right,
Bye,
y'all.
y'all.
Everyone. And
Bye-bye.
thanks, Jeffrey, for the lovely poem.
Definitely.